Did you know that many celebrities lived in haunted homes? They had strange cults, beliefs, and traditions that led them to reside in homes that were either haunted or possessed. But why did they choose to live there? What happened to those homes after celebrities died? Is Hollywood still using them for secret cults? Let's uncover the truth. Lucille Ball's Beverly Hills House. Lucille Ball, the comedic genius behind I Love Lucy, spent her later years in a quaint Beverly Hills home that seemed far more understated than her larger-than-life persona. After her passing, however, residents claimed to hear echoes of her laughter in the halls, along with unexplained footsteps shuffling across empty rooms. One especially chilling story mentions a mirror that allegedly reflected Lucy's ghostly figure when no one else was nearby. A few owners tried renovating the property, hoping to quell the strange happenings. Yet, construction workers reported equipment vanishing and tools mysteriously moving on their own. According to local rumor, Lucy had strong emotional ties to the home. She and husband Desi once plotted new show ideas right there. Some say her spirit lingers because of unfulfilled creative plans, or simply due to her stubborn determination to keep entertaining. Despite attempts to modernize the place, the new decor supposedly did little to calm these spooky tales. Still, fans occasionally drive by, curious about encountering a glimpse of Lucy's famous red-headed silhouette. While skeptics shrug off the ghost stories as mere Hollywood lore, believers stand firm that comedy's reigning queen never fully took her final bow, instead choosing to keep watch over the home she loved. Harry Houdini's Laurel Canyon Estate. Although Harry Houdini wasn't a film star in the same vein as Charlie Chaplin or Mary Pickford, he was a legendary entertainer who left his mark on Hollywood. His Laurel Canyon property once featured a lavish mansion rumored to contain secret tunnels, a fitting detail for a master escape artist. After a devastating fire in 1959 burned much of the structure, locals began reporting sightings of Houdini's apparition wandering the charred grounds, as if searching for lost artifacts. Visitors often claim to hear eerie whispers near the old foundations, and some say they've sensed a chilling presence around the collapsed staircases. Many blame Houdini's own fascination with the afterlife. Despite debunking fraudulent mediums in public, he was privately determined to find proof of communication from beyond the grave. This duality led to speculation that his spirit might be tethered to a place where he once hosted seances and performed illusions. Though the original mansion no longer stands, modern owners of the property still report odd flickers of light and unexplained voices in the night. For ghost hunters and curiosity seekers, the Houdini estate remains one of Los Angeles' most intriguing mysteries. A crumbled stage where the world's most famous magician may still be trying to pull off the ultimate supernatural feat. Ozzie and Harriet Nelson's Hollywood home. Ozzie and Harriet Nelson, stars of the long-running TV show The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, projected an image of wholesome Americana. Their real-life home, tucked in the Hollywood area, was surprisingly modest for such prominent figures. After Ozzie's passing in 1975, the home allegedly became a hotbed of spooky events. Neighbors shared stories of music drifting from empty rooms and the lingering smell of cigar smoke. Ozzie's preferred indulgence, when no one was around. Some visitors reported the sensation of being watched while walking through the halls, particularly near the den where Ozzie used to plan episodes. Former residents even swore they saw fleeting shadows that resembled his familiar silhouette. Harriet eventually moved away, but the tales of a gentle, watchful presence persisted. Most folks see the hauntings as a harmless manifestation of Ozzie's devotion to both his family and the home he loved. Though the property has changed hands multiple times and undergone significant renovations, the stories haven't faded. Paranormal enthusiasts still say they can detect unusual energy, especially late at night. Whether it's genuine spirit activity or just the power of the Nelsons' wholesome legacy, the old house remains a quiet reminder that sometimes family values and nostalgia can linger long after the cameras stop rolling. Thelma Todd's Beach House. Thelma Todd, known as the Ice Cream Blonde, was a comedic actress who starred alongside the Marx Brothers. In the 1930s, she owned a picturesque Spanish-style cafe and apartment near Pacific Palisades, right by the ocean. However, it became more infamous for her mysterious death in 1935. She was discovered in the garage, and the circumstances sparked endless rumors of foul play. People claimed that Todd's restless spirit never left. Residents reported hearing footsteps late at night, sometimes followed by the sound of a car engine turning over without anyone inside. Doors slammed inexplicably, and cold spots seemed to emerge in random rooms. One especially chilling story describes the faint echo of a woman sobbing near the garage, as if replaying that tragic final moment. Over time, the building hosted different businesses and private apartments, but eerie occurrences persistently scared off some tenants. Even skeptics found it hard to ignore the unsettling atmosphere. While official investigations never fully unraveled the mystery of Todd's death, local legends suggest she wanders the property in search of answers, or perhaps justice. Today, curious ghost hunters still linger by the old garage at night, hoping to catch a glimpse of Todd's phantom in the moonlight. A final scene with no conclusive ending. Carole Lombard's Hollywood Hills Retreat. Carole Lombard's vivacious screen presence made her a beloved star of the 1930s, and her marriage to Clark Gable turned them into one of Hollywood's most iconic couples. Before tragedy struck, she died in a plane crash in 1942. Lombard kept a house in the Hollywood Hills that exuded her bright personality. Yet, after her untimely death, rumors surfaced that her cheerful energy took a ghostly turn. Visitors to the home reported soft laughter echoing through empty rooms, along with the occasional whiff of the floral perfume Lombard famously favored. Some said they glimpsed a fleeting figure on the balcony, dressed in glamorous 1930s attire, vanishing as quickly as she appeared. Gable himself was said to have visited the place a few times after her death, supposedly sensing Lombard's spirit lingering there. Renovations over the decades have changed much of the property, but the stories persist. Random cold spots, flickering lights, and unexplained breezes still captivate modern-day homeowners. Many believe that Lombard's spirit remains playful and benevolent, a nod to her real-life persona. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, stepping onto the old grounds can feel like entering a bygone era, where a witty, radiant star may still roam, refusing to let her memory fade into the Hollywood Hills. Orson Welles' Tudor-style house. Orson Welles, the visionary behind Citizen Kane, once resided in a Tudor-style home perched on the slopes above Sunset Boulevard. Known for his larger-than-life persona, Welles reportedly conducted all sorts of dramatic late-night readings and brainstorming sessions in its oak-paneled study. Long after he moved out, subsequent tenants whispered about slamming doors and the hushed murmur of a deep, sonorous voice reverberating in the corridors, uncannily similar to Welles's own. Some visitors claimed to spot a cigar-puffing figure standing by the study's window, disappearing the moment they approached. Others heard faint orchestral music, possibly echoing Welles's love for grand radio productions. Paranormal investigators who ventured inside recorded unusual electromagnetic readings, adding fuel to the idea that something, or someone, unseen, was still holding court there. Despite the spooky tales, many who've stayed in the home describe the presence as more intriguing than frightening, like a creative genius unwilling to relinquish his stage. Stories persist of flickering lights and disembodied footsteps that grow louder when discussing Welles's unfinished projects. Whether these accounts are mere fancy or genuine ghostly signs, the Tudor house remains a piece of Hollywood lore. Fans can't help but imagine Welles continuing to script the final act of a life that always seemed one masterpiece short of completion. Clifton Webb's Haunted Residence. Character actor Clifton Webb, revered for films like Laura and Sitting Pretty, was known for his razor-sharp wit and impeccable style. After Webb passed away in 1966, His longtime Los Angeles home gained a reputation for unexplained activity. Neighbors recounted that lights switched on and off at odd hours, even when the house was vacant. Some heard the faint strains of classical music, Webb's favorite, drifting through open windows in the dead of night. Close friends suggested that Webb, a devoted mother's boy in life, might be clinging to the house he shared with his mother Mabel. A few owners who moved in after his death reported hearing an elegant male voice, calling out as if searching for someone, only to find empty rooms. Doors would creak open on their own, and mirrors sometimes fogged up with no apparent cause. Local lore says that one particularly eerie manifestation occurred in the library. A strong scent of Webb's signature cologne would suddenly fill the air, as if he'd just walked by. While some tenants found these events unnerving, others believed Webb's spirit retained his trademark refinement, seldom causing more than a startled gasp. To fans of vintage Hollywood, the home stands as an otherworldly stage for a performer who never quite left his final bow. James Whale's Benedict Canyon House. Director James Whale, responsible for classics like Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein, owned a cozy house tucked in Benedict Canyon. Obsessed with Gothic ambiance, Whale furnished his home with medieval-style decor, from ornate candelabras to dark wood paneling reminiscent of his movie sets. After his death in 1957, under circumstances some consider mysterious, talk of ghostly occurrences circulated. Visitors and later owners described hearing what sounded like faint organ music, reminiscent of Bride of Frankenstein's eerie score. Footsteps would echo in the upstairs hall, halting abruptly when anyone went to investigate. Some claimed to see shadowy figures gliding through Whale's beloved garden at dusk, as if reenacting a scene from one of his haunting films. Adding to the eerie aura, certain corners of the house remained inexplicably chilly year-round, no matter the season. Paranormal enthusiasts argue that Whale's fascination with the macabre extended beyond his films, perhaps tethering his restless spirit to the spot where he once thrived creatively. Though renovations have tried to brighten the interior, the original Gothic charm remains. For film buffs who journey into Benedict Canyon, Whale's old abode still feels steeped in the atmospheric tension of a classic horror film, where the auteur himself might still be calling action from beyond the veil. Fields's West Hollywood home. W.C. Fields, the comedic actor, known for his raspy drawl and cynical humor, settled in a quaint West Hollywood home later in life. Though he loved entertaining guests with witty banter, Fields also battled health issues and a reclusive streak. After his death in 1946, subsequent occupants of the house said they heard gravelly coughing and the unmistakable clink of glass. Fields was famously fond of a good drink. Some nights, faint laughter echoed through the study, carrying a mocking tone reminiscent of Fields's on-screen persona. Eerie stories emerged of seeing his trademark top hat resting on the foyer table, only to blink and find it gone. A few owners tried to brush off these phenomena as imagination, but even skeptics admitted to a certain heaviness in the air. Curiously, people who attempted major renovations reported ghostly pushback. Tools disappeared, paint wouldn't dry, and sudden chills swept through rooms at the oddest times. Legend has it that Fields disliked change and made sure anyone meddling with his cozy retreat felt his disapproval. Though the home eventually passed through multiple hands, the aura of a cantankerous comedic genius persists. For fans of old Hollywood humor, the idea of W.C. Fields refusing to exit stage left, even in the afterlife, comes as no surprise. Groucho Marx's cozy villa. Groucho Marx, famed member of the Marx Brothers, entertained audiences with quick-witted banter and sharp one-liners. Off-camera, he lived in a snug Mediterranean-style villa in Beverly Hills, far less ostentatious than many of his contemporaries. However, after his death in 1977, rumors began swirling about unexplained laughter in the corridors and phantom cigar smoke drifting near the library. Visitors described hearing Groucho's trademark wisecracks late at night. Some swore they caught an echo of, "I never forget a face, but in your case, "I'll be glad to make an exception," whispered in an empty room. The comedic energy, they said, was almost palpable, as if Groucho never wanted the party to end. Curiously, several owners claimed that any attempt to remove items related to comedy, like vintage posters or comedic scripts, coincided with malfunctioning electronics, doors locking themselves, and a faint voice commanding them to leave it. Some interpret these odd events as Groucho's comedic mischief from beyond, ensuring his comedic legacy remains intact. Though the villa has been renovated over the years, many still pass by, hoping to sense a trace of Groucho's irreverent spirit. In a town built on make-believe, few hauntings match the playful vibe attributed to this comedic legend, whose punchlines apparently linger long after the final curtain. Lucille, Lucy, and Desi's former Chatsworth Ranch. Though they primarily lived in Beverly Hills, Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz once owned a secluded ranch in Chatsworth as a weekend getaway. With rolling hills and dusty trails, it provided a stark contrast to the bustling city. Locals, however, whispered that a ghostly female figure, resembling Lucy, roamed the property's dirt roads at twilight. After the couple sold the ranch, future owners reported hearing Lucy's laughter echo across the fields, especially near an old barn the couple had converted into a rehearsal space. Some nights, neighbors were convinced a comedy routine was happening inside. Footsteps pacing, a woman's voice delivering lines, then bursts of laughter, only to peer through the windows and see nothing. Desi's spirit was also rumored to make occasional appearances. The faint strumming of a conga drum sometimes drifted through the orchard, reminiscent of the musical interludes Desi performed on I Love Lucy. While skeptics attribute these sounds to coyotes or wind, believers see them as a playful duet from beyond. The ranch has changed owners and undergone modern updates, but fans still link the property to Lucy and Desi's comedic magic, and perhaps their lingering synergy. In a quiet corner of the valley, some say, Hollywood's most iconic TV couple continues an eternal rehearsal for a show that never ends. Bela Lugosi Jr.'s former cottage, The Overlooked Tale. Though Bela Lugosi's own Gothic hideaway is more famous, his son, Bela Lugosi Jr., briefly owned a small cottage near the same area in Hollywood. Over the years, locals claimed the father's eerie legacy somehow seeped into the son's home. Visitors described hearing hushed conversations in Hungarian, the Lugosi family's native tongue, echoing through empty rooms. On stormy nights, neighbors swore they saw flickers of candlelight in an upper window, reminiscent of an old-world Transylvanian castle. Creepiest of all, a few people alleged that an ethereal bat hovered near the porch, vanishing into thin air. Many chalked it up to the family's vampiric Hollywood association, but the consistent stories gave the cottage a reputation that overshadowed its modest charm. When Bela Jr. moved away, subsequent owners tried to dispel the myths, only to find unexplained scratches on walls and windows, like claw marks appearing overnight. Whether these events were elaborate pranks or genuine supernatural occurrences remains uncertain. Yet the house's direct link to the Lugosi name keeps it an object of fascination among horror enthusiasts. Even in a quiet corner of Hollywood, the echoes of Dracula's mesmerizing stare and the Lugosi legacy can apparently transform an unassuming cottage into a playground for the paranormal. Boris Karloff's British-style bungalow in Beverly Hills. While Karloff's enchanted cottage in Los Angeles is famous, fewer people know he briefly owned a quaint, British-style bungalow in Beverly Hills during the height of his career. Painted in soft pastels and trimmed with ivy, it looked miles away from the horror sets Karloff was known for. Yet after he sold the home, multiple owners reported disembodied footsteps and murmured conversations in a distinctly English accent. Some nights, neighbors heard a deep, cultured voice reciting lines, possibly from Shakespeare or from Karloff's stage roles, followed by an abrupt silence. The ghostly activity often centered around the living room fireplace, where Karloff was said to enjoy reading scripts. Oddly enough, several cats belonging to later residents refused to enter that area, hissing at an unseen figure. Skeptics believe the Karloff connection is too tempting a story to resist. But believers argue the bungalow holds a residual haunt, capturing the echo of a thoughtful actor who took pride in his art. To this day, a few passers-by claim they glimpse a tall, stooped figure in the garden at dusk, offering a polite bow before fading into the evening shadows. For horror film aficionados, it's yet another sign that Karloff's dignified spirit might wander the places he once called home. If you enjoyed these additional tales of haunted old Hollywood homes, please leave a like and comment. Consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell to stay updated on our newest spooky spotlights and cinematic curiosities.